Oh, hello Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If Aries is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Okay, Two of Wands, Aries. This is one of your kind of special cards because it is a Mars in Aries sort of energy. And I feel that right now you're someone who is like right on the edge of like losing it, you know? Like right on the edge of just being frustrated beyond containment, okay? I feel like you're kind of bursting at the seams here over something. Something's got you a little bit PO'd, okay? You're somebody who usually has a very tight control on your negative emotions, right? You're not one that really expresses your negative emotions a lot, you know. But there's a situation going on with you right now that it's kind of hard for you to not say something or speak up or not do something about it, right? And I feel like almost there's someone perhaps that's sort of encroaching on your territory or starting to sort of push their way into your life, and you're just kind of not having it. I don't know if this is a friend, family member type of energy, but it's like you're trying to be very patient, you're trying to be very tolerant, you keep telling yourself, it's okay, you're counting to 10, you're doing all that stuff, but it's just something that you can't really tolerate much longer, okay? And you're not usually one that gets angry very easily. I know Aries always... Everybody thinks Aries like flies off the handle all the time, but you don't. You can. You can give people a bit of a whooping if they need it, figuratively speaking. But you're one that's usually very patient, very tolerant. Usually for you, if something's rubbing you the wrong way, you don't stick around and get frustrated and get angry and then have an outburst. You just take off, you know. But for some reason right now, you can't really just take off. Maybe it's a work thing, maybe it's family, maybe it's a family of a family, maybe it's an in-law situation, whatever it could be. Now we're going to put this into some context, okay? We need a few other cards here to help us a little bit. Now we've got a Prince of Cups. We've got the Ace of Cups, okay? We've got the Sun card. We've got the Libra energy with the Adjustment card. And, oh, look at that, Aries Power card. The Aries Power card is very interesting because we also have the Libra Power card. And, of course, Libra is your opposite sign. Aries and Libra on the wheel of the zodiac are opposites. So it's kind of your alter ego. It's kind of your unconscious ego, if you will, or your shadow side or something like that, right? It's that other half of you that you're sort of usually unaware of, right? But I think you're kind of acutely aware of it now because you're trying to be what we would see here as sort of fair and balanced and tolerant and trying to be professional and trying to be courteous and trying to be perhaps a gracious host to some energy that really is sort of rubbing you the wrong way. Your instinct, of course, is to kind of take on your full Aries Emperor attitude and command the situation, you know, or take off. So it's an interesting kind of juxtaposition that we have here with these two cards, and I wonder if this is kind of the reason that this is so frustrating is because you're seeing a lot of this unconscious part of yourself manifested in this other situation, and a bit of projection, okay, and which we all do it. We all do it. But there's the Magician. There's your ability to slide back and forth between these two energies sort of effortlessly. And that's what we need to sort of embrace right now, okay? Seven of Cups in the environment, yeah, makes sense. We've got the Queen of Wands in the position of what we don't want. This is sort of the obstacle here. And then, of course, we've got the Devil energy. So perhaps by the end of this, you might be sort of getting back to your own kind of lone wolf energy. But right now I feel like there's this kind of, you're being kind of forced in a way to tolerate somebody or something, right? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're just going to set it down over here, and we're going to put Alien, Simon, Mork, Ripley right on top. Now, this is the first reading for this new energetic cycle. So Alien, Simon, Mork, Ripley, or ASMR for short, is going to take over the duties of Guardian of the Mystery card, and they will see us through down to Pauhana Friday, when we then, of course, have your next reading, and we have to switch the Guardian out again. All right. If you have a prediction for this card, put it down in the comments. I highly recommend it. It's interactive, it's fun, and it also exercises your intuition, and that's always a good thing. Okay. Let's take a look around the room. We do have quite a bit of major arcana here, actually. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So half the reading is major arcana. And then we've got fire and fire. We've got water, water, water. And that's it. Fire and water, and then the major arcana. So the fire and water, first of all, tell us that this is something that's kind of like, well, we could say oil and water, right? It's two things that aren't really going to mix. Or if it does mix, it's going to produce, if it mixes the wrong way, let's say, it's going to produce a lot of storms, a lot of steam, a lot of dangerous sort of activity, right? There's going to cause, if you and this other entity, now maybe it's a group of people, maybe it's one person, maybe it's a relative, a friend, an in-law, a coworker, a boss, whatever. If you and this entity clash, we're going to get a lot of the wrong swords cards here, right? If the two of you can come together in the right way and see your differences not as something irreconcilable, but as something that can be matched together, then you're creating the steam of, let's say a steam engine, and I think even modern power plants, they still use steam, even if they're fueled by different sources. It still is this idea of producing the pressure and the steam that then is going to drive the motors or whatever, but I don't know much about any of that stuff. But I do feel that the air produced is sort of what's fueling this devil energy. And so in that sense, the combination, which is something that you're trying to work on, the combination of forces with this other energy, if you're fire, they're water, how can you get together and work with this thing to produce the kind of steam that's going to be energy, that's going to generate work, that's going to be part of this driving force that's going to drive this devil right up the hill, right? And so the two of you could work together and achieve crazy success, or the two of you could clash and neither of you would really produce anything. In fact, we'd continue to get the Seven of Cups in the environment. It would just get worse and worse and worse. And so I think there's options here, right? There's options here. I almost wonder if this is a family thing. I get a little bit of that just because of the Ace of Cups down here, but I think the Ace of Cups might be a little bit different than family. I don't know that it's really family stuff. Let's talk about the Prince of Cups. This may be an Aries. You're the Aries. It may be a Scorpio person. It may be a water sign person, but maybe not. It doesn't really matter. For some of you, that might resonate. Okay, but this person is somebody that feels like they are so different from you, and I'm not going to pretend to know you personally to be able to tell you how you are and how they are, but it seems like there's a fundamental difference of everything. Different styles, different opinions, different methods. It's everything that they would do, you would do the opposite way. It reminds me of Stanley's rant in the office against Michael, the manager, right? Everything that you do, I would do the opposite way. Fundamental differences in methods and styles. And I feel that is sort of difficult for you to combine yourself with, okay? And this person, I find that they mean well. I feel that they just have a different approach to things than you do. And that this is the water energy that you're sort of up against right now. Okay? I feel that your instinct is rather to go off and do your own thing individually, lone wolf, kind of, to get out of there and not even enter into this sort of conflict. But because we have the Two of Wands right here in the middle, I feel like this is a sort of a conflict that you are stuck with. It's either a family member that you can't just sort of leave. It's the job that you can't just sort of leave. And so you're kind of stuck in a room with this person. Got to figure out how to make it work. Okay? And so I feel that your options now, it's either come together and find a way for you two to generate the kind of productivity that we see with the Devil card at the end, or it just continues to get worse. So there's kind of this struggle, and I don't know if the two of you maybe you both sort of feel as if you were put in charge, but there's just like, I don't know if there's sort of a disagreement about who is really the leader here, With the Emperor card in the future position, I feel like you are generally the leader in what you do. You generally sort of like to take the command and say, hey, I'll go ahead and be the team leader, today. I almost wonder if there's a need right now for you to sort of step back and let somebody else take that leadership role, okay? Not because you're admitting that they're better or that they could do better than you, but almost as a strategy. You know what I mean? So let's continue looking around at some of these cards here. The Ace of Cups down beneath everything. You want this to work out, and I feel that this is underneath the surface for a reason, okay? Because I feel that this is kind of like almost an unconscious part of you that you're seeing a lot of, how should I phrase this? It's like a projection. You know what I mean? With all this water underneath the surface here, I feel that the reason there's this animosity against this person, because, yeah, they do feel as if they are completely opposite from you. But I wonder if you actually are starting to become subtly aware on an unconscious level that there's a lot of similarities. That however you're viewing them, it's kind of true about me too, So I feel that there is a little bit of identification here, a little bit of projection. But I also kind of wonder if you want this, if there's part of you that really kind of wants this to be a good partnership, that you want this to work, right? And maybe it is family, maybe it is in-laws, and maybe there is on the surface this kind of the Two of Wands, the sort of the butting of the heads and the battle, But underneath it all, I feel that there's a lot of love there, or there's a wish. There's a wish, yeah. And maybe it's not a wish that you're consciously thinking about or speaking on, but I feel like it's there. I feel like you would love for this to become something more. Of course, what we see in practice is the Seven of Cups, and I feel that this is kind of your pessimism in a way. This is part of your conscious Aries energy that's saying, yeah, I may wish for this to be a really happy thing, but I don't see it becoming that, right? We think of the Ace of Cups as being the wellspring of that love energy, that beauty, that bliss, that compassion, that creativity, right? That spiritual water. And it flows out in every direction, becomes a 10 of Cups. Perfect. It irrigates every area of life, and everything is just feels good, But I think that you can't see that. You can only see it going as far as the 7 of Cups, which is kind of a swamp. It's all the water kind of pools in one area, and it just becomes a muck, swampy, quicksandy sort of thing. And so you're saying, it doesn't matter really what I wish for. This person's way too different from me. There's no way this is going to be a good thing. There's no way this is going to work. But I feel as if you recognize that habit of thought. See, what we're noticing here in the reading is that there are no swords cards. right? We've got our magician. We've got some air here with the Libra energy, obviously, but we don't have any like legit swords cards, right? So I feel that there's not, nothing's really been done yet. We haven't produced that volatile storm of the air energy. We haven't produced that really good sort of steam engine power, for productivity either. It's kind of like you're not sure how to respond yet. Not really sure what to do at the moment. But the sun in the background here is very interesting. The sun is a card of health. It is a card of wealth. It is a card of sort of integrating two sides of ourselves. Because see, the sun is not just the higher self. The sun is the higher self and the lower self, let's say the divine personality and the human personality merged together. We've lifted the lower up into the higher, so to speak. And I don't think it's not a judgment, higher, lower. I feel like it's sort of maybe inner and outer. But the sun is this, the integration of all these different parts of ourselves. So I feel like what I'm talking about, you've already been there. You already know sort of what's going on here. And you're aware that this idea of partnership is something that might be part of your karma. It's trying to really integrate that unconscious, opposite shadow side of yourself. And we're trying to embrace a little bit of this Libra energy. When our conscious instinct is to go full emperor, right? Full Aries. And so this might be some work that you're consciously doing, that you know that this is part of the path. Yeah. About sort of shining a light on yourself in order to fully, achieve a sense of gnosis, self-knowledge, the true depths of yourself. And so I think that you've begun a lot of spiritual work recently, maybe. I don't know, not that you've just started your spiritual path, but I think that you've sort of been working on a new subject lately, with the sun card here. I feel that you've been working on, or you started recently, some kind of new cycle. We all have these karmic knots in us, these blockages in our soul everywhere, right? And I feel like you found a new one to work on. And I feel like this is really, we're trying to reconcile the Aries and the Libra energy. You're sort of, maybe your conscious desire or need to kind of control and to lead and to be at the foreground and to kind of call the shots, versus the Libra energy, which is really about kind of, everybody having a fair kind of vote, everybody having their say, and everybody getting an opinion. And it's really a cooperative card, this one here. Right, it's kind of like, if we're using The Office today, it would be the co-managers. Remember when Michael and Jim became co-managers, right? And it was terribly funny. But I feel that's kind of what the Libra card is up to here today, trying to say that, there's not a need for one energy to dominate the other or one person to dominate the other. Because remember, we're talking about you and another person or another entity, but really we're talking about two halves of yourself, right? And there's no need for this Two of Wands to exist there. But this is kind of, I think, what you're feeling right now, that it's either you or them, that one of you has to come out on top, that this is a battle to the death, not literally, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I think that you're really recognizing that. And in order to achieve this sort of wish, this Ace of Cups, that I just want everything to be fine. I want everything to be good. I want to feel good. I want to be happy. I want to, I want to express myself. I want to have, opportunity to be creative and to connect with people. And I feel like this is that kind of chance for you to really do that. And I feel like this is one of those like once in a lifetime moments in your life where your spiritual work is really laid out on the table before you. And, this is the work that you wanted to do. You wanted enlightenment, and we got that with the Sun card. You wanted this illumination, in life. And The sun, nothing hides from it. There are no shadows here. So this sun card is shining light on all these different parts of you that you need to deal with, particularly this one. It just so happens that the universe has set you up in this situation where you can work on. This is it. This is the moment now for you to really to work on this, and I think have this kind of breakthrough that is going to allow you to sort of fully integrate your energies. Okay, so the Libra energy up at the top here, it's kind of it's almost giving somebody else a little bit more leeway. It's almost like you kind of yield to let somebody else sort of to go in front of you a little bit. It's kind of an equal partnership, but it's, I think, indicating that you're making the gesture to do that. That you are reaching out to try to be diplomatic, to try to be fair, to try to really be genuine with this person and create this, whatever, if it's a work thing, family thing, but create this sort of partnership where the two of you can sort of not get over your differences, honor your differences. You're different for a reason. You don't have to pretend you're not different, right? But to learn how to allow those energies to mesh together. You have a certain set of talents and skills. They have a certain set of talents and skills. If you can combine them, this is going to be amazing, right? If it's a work thing, a creative thing, even if it's a family relationship, like it's going to be really, really amazing. And I think you're going to be really, really happy. I think that you're going to see the fulfillment of this Ace of Cups, and it's really going to blossom, right? And you might be saying, well, I don't want to be friends with this person, darn it. And maybe you don't consciously, right? And I think it's that sort of initial bias that we have that prevents things from happening. If we just kind of suspend that thought or that judgment and just see what happens. See what happens if you yield a little bit, and if you give a little bit, and if you work on creating a partnership here to see what it can become, okay? We're going to talk about the path of the serpent, because over here we kind of see just that thing happening. And I don't feel like I'm telling you anything that you don't already know. I feel like this is an energy that you're consciously working with, and you see the potential here. I think this is just kind of giving you confirmation of what you're already aware of. Yeah. As we talk about the path of the serpent, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything, and it really does help the channel, and I appreciate that. So, general energy, Magician card. The Magician is that Mercury, that Quicksilver, very fluid energy, is able to go from light to shadow very, very quickly. From Aries to Libra to Aries, Libra, it really is creating a connection between both. It's kind of the corpus callosum in the brain, the hemispheres of the brain, right? Links them both together. And it's your ability to be the very best of the Aries energy, be a strong, assertive leader, have those great ideas, have those quick decisions, have that confidence, and also have that Libra energy. Have the ability to finesse the situation and connect with people and bond with people and really let people know that that there's a strong desire in you for a partnership, And maybe we're talking romance here. Maybe we're talking about a spouse or a potential lover or whatever it is. This is your ability to adapt to the situation and to adapt to every moment. The energy is different in every single moment. And this is your ability in real time to sort of adjust your interface, right? As you're interacting with other energies, with other people, with the circumstances in any given moment. Any given moment, you're able to sort of adjust your energy on the fly, real time. Okay? Very adaptable. The Magician card. The Magician will take any set of circumstances. Let's say you're forced in a room with this person and the boss says, you got to figure it out. I want results by Friday, right? And we want to enjoy the pow on a Friday. So your Magician will take that set of circumstances and will figure out how to optimize it. will be constantly adjusting its own algorithm in order to optimize that moment and to optimize that situation to sort of all but guarantee the very best outcome. And I think you and this person together, getting fired up together, and it is your very differences that are going to create such magic and such genius here that's going to really propel that goat right up the mountain to success. Okay? Because if somebody was exactly like you, there would be no stimulation, there would be no challenge, no growth, no development, there would be nothing there, So by integrating this opposite, the opposite within you, but also externally in the symbol of this other person, I think that's going to create something that's even greater than the sum of its parts. We think of the sun card here, right? The sun is not just a collection of atoms or whatever it is, different elements or molecules or something. Yeah, sure, it's a bunch of parts put together into one sort of thing, right? But the sun as a whole, as an idea, is greater than the sum of its parts. It's a life giver, it's an illuminator, right? And I think that's what's going on with you and this other half. Integrating your shadow side is going to produce something that is larger than just Libra and Aries put together as a hybrid sign, You're creating something that's greater. You're creating a big star, essentially. And the magician, of course, doesn't rail against the circumstances and get angry and try to fight against the circumstances, doesn't argue with the boss, just says, okay, I'm here, I'm going to make the absolute very best of this. And the magician knows how to perform in any situation, right? The best of magicians, the best of artists or musicians, anything, they get thrown in a situation and they're going to turn it into a jam, right? They're going to turn it into something that's really, really beautiful and happy, and they're going to make the absolute best of it. It's like when Johnny Cash went to Folsom Prison, right? Or whoever that one artist was that would just show up at random parks and start playing his hit songs on guitar. I don't remember who that was. Anyway, that's sort of this magician energy, and it is the connection between the two sides. This is partaking of both the inner and the outer, the light and the shadow sides of self, right? Especially because of that sun card where there is really no shadow. Everything is sort of here out in the open for you to witness. We've got to be aware of the Seven of Cups in the environment. I feel like right now this is kind of what you feel is the situation, but there's confidence in this, right? It's a 7, it's a number of Venus, it's a number of confidence, of triumph. I think that this is something that we can pull this situation out of the muck, especially with the magician. The magician will go here to the swamp. Most people will see disgusting, swampy, nasty energy. The magician sees the dirty, nasty, disgusting, swampy energy, but says, I like it. I can work with this. We can make this, I don't know what you do in a swamp like that. You build a house on stilts or something, but the magician can make it something extraordinary. The magician can transform this into a 6 of cups, maybe a 9 or a 10 of cups even. Can figure out how to dig a couple holes over here, maybe put some boards, dam a little bit of water over this way, and keep that water flowing, get it going out so it can get to the rest of the land, can get to the other cups and make its way through the 8 to the 9 and the 10. I expect the mystery card to be some water energy, some really good water energy, right? But, in the moment it feels as if this Ace of Cups is not getting any bit further than this. Okay. The Queen of Wands here. The Queen of Wands is water plus fire, right? And this is the water here. And I think what this is really recognizing is sort of a reluctance in you to I think part of your conscious mind, when we're stuck in a room with somebody, it's just kind of like, I don't want to become like them. Because I think you see them as being completely different than you, completely opposite than you. And the worst thing that you can imagine right now is you taking on some of those qualities. But you know that all those are in you anyway already, right? But that's why there's this little bit of resistance, I think, is because it's that we don't want to be exposed to someone's energy like this and find that it's sort of seeping in. See, there's water in here, but it's sort of hidden. It's just sort of like we're subtly being influenced by this other person. And to me, for an Aries, that feels like sort of the worst thing ever. You know, that somebody's going to be influencing your personality, your energy, your way of doing things, kind of inadvertently, you know. So a little bit of that water, because, you know, this is that sort of water. The other person is represented by water anyway, at least. Feeling as if they're kind of subtly changing who you are. And so then there's that kind of loss of identity, you know. It's kind of like in the Matrix. I think it is, right? When Neo, something happens and he starts turning into like metal or whatever it is, right? I don't remember that part, but I remember that sort of image. And it feels kind of like that. And this is something that you've got to sort of get over. And the reason you have to get over it is because you all are already those qualities anyway. So by recognizing those in yourself and by integrating the things that you sort of disagree with about the other person, their methods and styles, right? And the way they do things as being opposite of you, I think we'll begin to realize that we're not so different from this person after all. And maybe this is the realization ultimately that the two of you have a lot in common. When you really get down to it, when you really start letting your guard down and getting to know this person, there's a lot of similarities there. You're not so different after all, right? The devil energy at the end here, I think, is very appropriate because it is that driving force. It is the will to sort of get things done, to get productive, to really, to make things happen. And I feel like this is the joining of forces, because the goat, this is kind of a solitary, single point, concentrated creative energy. It's a lone goat climbing up a mountain all the way to the top, right? Nothing's going to stop it. So it's kind of like the two of you now have joined forces and you're one sort of sun. One creative force, not two opposing forces, not two forces that are trying to sort of get along, but you're a united force now. Okay? And even if it's a friend, if it's a family member, if it's your spouse, if it is a coworker or a creative collaborator or something like that, I feel like this is really, really good energy. This is sort of a unified will, that the two of you want the same things. The two different halves of yourself want the same things. The same ultimate long-term sort of goal, getting to the summit of the mountain, whatever the mountain is. And this is that driving force as a result. This is the engine that is fueled by the steam of you interacting with this person in that way. Okay? And this is a very, very good outcome there. But let's check in with this mystery card. What do we think this is going to be? I want it to be some good water energy. I want to see the real joy, pleasure, and happiness that results from all of this. I want to see that your secret wish here with the Ace of Cups is expanding and being fulfilled. Okay, if you have a prediction, put it down in the comments. The Strength card. Leo energy, more fire energy. It is, in some ways, this is a card of courage, bravery, right? This is sometimes a control over those kind of instinctual parts of ourselves, right? So this is, in some ways, kind of you, well, I don't know if you'll like this, but we could look at it as the Libra energy in you sort of getting a little bit of control over the Aries energy in you. Right? Letting that alter ego, letting your opposite sign energy kind of take over and not silence the emperor, right? We're trying to get along. See, the Strength card is about sort of the divine energy kind of taming the human animal kind of energy, right? It's either divine and human, or it is perhaps rational and instinctual. It is, the mind and the body, or whatever you want to say. It's kind of the mind then calming the body, quieting the body down. We think of there's like a dog that's really kind of an angry dog, right? And then someone comes along and is able to sort of calm the dog down. The dog becomes docile and friendly, and it gets along with everybody, like the dog whisperer or whatever that happened. But I think in your case, it really is, it's about allowing this Libra energy, this very diplomatic and connected energy that's striving for that kind of fairness, the balance, the connection, the kind of knowing that this partnership is going to be for the best, that if it has to be this way. So it's kind of that professional energy, and the Emperor feels a little bit stubborn in this situation. It feels kind of like, well, if I don't like it, it's not going to happen. Sorry. Well, the Libra energy is saying, I might not like it, but it has to happen, and we're going to make the best of it. We're going to get to the summit of the mountain here. So I think the Strength card really is an interesting way to look at it. And I feel that this really is leading to your real happiness. Okay, and it may not feel that way now, and it may not really necessarily be through this particular person or situation, but your ability to sort of go through this this next kind of karmic cycle. Yeah. We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Aries every Monday and Friday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment for me and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.